What happens when we stop pretending and we start telling the truth? When we pull up a chair, break bread, and have the conversations we've been avoiding. Welcome to Breakin Bread with Deedra Zee. This is a podcast where we talk about the journey of becoming who we're called to be. No aesthetically pleasing, no perfection, just honest conversations about this journey we call life. Here, we talk about building wealth and protecting our peace, raising our children while also raising ourselves, loving deeply without losing who we are, and breaking cycles so we can build legacies. If you're navigating growth, healing, leadership, or love, this space is for you. So tap in, bring your whole self, and let's break bread together.
To raise a kid and do the best that I knew how, and to have his life taken for no apparent reason has changed my life forever.
On today's episode, we have the lovely Natasha Clemens. Natasha Clemens is a dedicated registered nurse with over 30 years of experience delivering compassionate, patient centered care across a wide range of healthcare settings. Born and raised in Sarasota, Florida, Natasha's nursing journey has been shaped by both professional excellence and profound personal resiliency. She earned her Associates of Art and Associates of Science degrees from the State College of Florida in Manatee County and built a career rooted in advocacy, empathy, and clinical integrity. Natasha is the proud mother of two children, Rodney Mitchell and Brandy Gordon, and a loving and devoted grandmother to her four lovely grandchildren, Channing, Chase, Sheila, and Braden. On June 11th, 2012, Natasha's life was forever changed by the tragic loss of her son, Rodney Mitchell. In the wake of unimaginable grief, she made the courageous decision not to surrender to despair, but to continue forward, transforming pain into purpose while honoring her son's life through resiliency and service. Despite this profound loss, Natasha remained steadfast in her commitment to personal growth and professional advancement. Her perseverance led her to earn her Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from Chamberlain University, a testament to her unwavering dedication to her calling and to lifelong learning. Currently, Natasha is advancing her education as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner with an aspiration to serve diverse patients by providing access to equitable and high quality mental health care. Beyond the advocacy and being a nurse, Natasha is admired for her strength, authenticity, and heart for service she brings to family, friends, loved ones, and her community. Natasha is known for her signature words, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is a reminder of the kind of love that refuses to let pain have the final word. Break bread with us in this episode as we journey the evolution of Natasha. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you. So tell me, how are you feeling? How are you feeling coming into this conversation today?
Well, coming into this conversation today, I'm carrying both tenderness and unbreakable strength.
There's still a deep ache in my soul, quite persistent with undeniable jet pain. However, there's transformation and clarity with this purpose and unresolved justice for my son.
Yeah, that's real. So it's been, how long has it been?
I think it's been about 12. Yeah, I think it's been about 12
years. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Tell me a little bit about Rodney. I've like been on this fight with you for a very long time with just a lot of the community work that we've done together. We've been doing this work for a long, long time.
Yes.
It's been 12 years and we are still on the fight.
There's no need to stop.
Yeah,
we just
absolutely
started.
Not. So tell us a little bit about Rodney, who Rodney was, how old was he? And I know that he has a son, Channing.
Yes, he has a son, Channing. Rodney is my only son.
Yeah.
Very special, very sweet guy. Very smart, good in sports, good with his academics. He, again, yes, is a father, Channing. At the time Rodney was murdered, he was 23. And
Forever 23.
Forever 23. So now Channing is 18.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. His son is 18 now. 18, okay.
Yes. Rodney is the type of guy that would walk in the room and change the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I mean by saying that is that, his smile brightens up a dark room. He was very, 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 again, respectful. He smart guy. Everybody loved him. So
right. Tell me about like did he play sports?
Actually, he played sports. He played football. He actually received a scholarship, a full scholarship to NIMI, to go to NIMI, and he played cornerback. He was on the dean's list. He did really, really well.
Has he always played football?
Yes, he's always played football. I keep my children busy because the thing about it is that I didn't want them to become a statistic. So I kept them busy. If they wasn't playing sports, I kept them in tutoring, or he was tutoring someone, other children. I just kept them busy, and I believed in, education was extremely important.
Right.
And so that as long as I knew that they were busy, that means that they were safe.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So he went to college, full ride scholarship. Amazing. That is awesome.
Yeah. Well, in the midst of between football, I would have him run track. Oh, he also played basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
Rodney was a very good basketball player also.
Nice.
That is, I almost forgot about that. He was a very good basketball player as well. And of course, I was his cheerleader.
Yeah.
We didn't need cheerleaders. I was the cheerleader.
You was the cheerleader.
Yeah. So whatever position he played, his mother played. Yeah, but he was really he was outgoing. He was inspirational to other children. He would, basically, gather the children up in the community and work with them and just try to,
So a true leader, like just natural born leader. That's amazing. Yeah. So when was Rodney born?
Rodney was born March 21st.
So he has a birthday coming up.
He does have a birthday coming up.
Nice. So 21st. How old would he have been?
Rodney would have been 36.
Wow. So tell me, I want to back us up. Tell me who you were, because I feel like a lot of people know you. A lot of people have come to know you because of Rodney, because of Rodney's story. You've traveled. You've spoken with so many people. You've spoken at so many different events. You got an opportunity to go to where George Floyd and his family was and speak with them and tell your story about Rodney and what happened. And so a lot of people know you because of your story and your advocacy and your resiliency and your push for justice for Rodney. But tell me who Natasha is. Who was Natasha before the advocacy? You were definitely his biggest cheerleader.
Yes, and I have always advocated for not just my children, but for people, the community. My mother was a community activist, so we always, if it's not right, it's wrong.
So you grew up like that?
I grew up like this, yes.
I love that.
I was, and it still is, I'm a loving person.
Yeah.
And if I can be of any help or assistance to anyone, I will do it.
Yeah.
I just want the best for my family. I love my family.
Yes.
I have an amazing family. Yeah.
But I want to talk about, you mentioned that you have two children though.
Oh yeah.
You have Rodney, you have Brandy.
Yes.
Miss Brandy, Miss B.
Yes.
And through all of this, through, just what, happened with Rodney and things like that, how did you continue to just be a mother? How did you continue to show up for your baby who was still here?
Well, to be honest, I mean, it's sad to say, but I was so focused on Rodney and trying to find out what happened to him and, all the details. I kind of put Brandy to the side, not, unintentional. And it's like,
Yeah.
and, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I have another kid,
Yeah.
that needs me.
Right.
I know
Right.
where Rodney is, but
Right.
I have a daughter that really, really needs me.
Right.
So, I was like, oh my God. So,
Yeah.
I have a story to tell, and I was like, it's funny now, but
Yeah.
at the time it was not.
Yeah.
When tragedy strikes, you lose a lot of your mental. I forgot how to write a resume. I couldn't do a cover letter.
Yeah.
I was in school. I was like, oh my freaking God.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to find help.
Yeah.
I need some therapy. Me and my daughter needs to go so we can get help.
Right.
So we went to hospice because
Okay.
hospice offer free,
Yeah. Yeah.
So therapy. So I was like, okay, we went, told
Yeah.
them our story, told them what happened, and
Mhm.
the lady tells me, well, your story is unique. We can't help you.
Interesting.
So I was like, so me and Brandy, we're looking at each other like, excuse me?
Mhm.
And I said, well, what do you mean? She says, we can't help you. So I said, well, oh, that was weird. So I was like, come on, Mom, because I call her Mom. I was like, well, come on, Mom, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, 3-4 months down the road, we end up back at hospice trying to get help, not even remembering that we had been there.
Wow.
We had no recollection. And the lady was like, Natasha, you've already been here. And I was like, Mom, we haven't been here. She was like, no, we haven't. What are you talking about? I said, ma'am, listen. I said, we need help.
Yeah.
So she was like, Natasha, you've been here. I said, no, we have not. And so, of course, Brandy is agreeing with me because, hey, she doesn't know. We were lost in the sauce.
Right.
So the lady told us Rodney's story, what I had told her. And I was like, oh, we have. So I really knew that I really had to step my game up when it came up to my daughter.
Yeah.
Because if she didn't know, I didn't know. The blind leading the blind, that wasn't safe.
Right.
So I had to try to get us some help.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hence, now you're in school and you're about to get your nursing degree, your nurse practitioner. Yeah. For psych, for mental health.
You have to think about it. I love nursing. I love what I do.
Yeah.
However, the mental aspect is first.
Yes.
It starts with the your thought process. It starts with your mindset.
Absolutely.
So if your mindset is done, then the body is done.
That's true.
You have to think about it.
That's true.
So, I'm grateful, to be honest, through this timing that I've been attending school.
Yeah.
School has been therapy for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
It has
what you've been studying.
Yes, it has been therapy for me.
So speaking of family, you have siblings. How many siblings?
It's 4 girls.
Where are you in the lineup with the girls?
I am the second oldest.
Okay, so tell me about, I guess, a time growing up with your sisters, like just a favorite like childhood moment or memory or a time that you remember with your sisters, like who you were.
We were basically surrounded by love, happiness. You appreciate what you have. God is the author and the finisher of our faith. We had each other, and family is family. A family that stays together, prays together. This is how we was raised, and we just loved on each other. We're one of the first families.
Yes, back in the day, Sarasota, Florida was known for their humongous Easter parades, humongous Juneteenth celebration, even their humongous MLK parade days. You were in a dance group.
Yes. the Sarasota Slickers, and that's something that my mother, well, initially his name was Jerry, Jerry and Wendy. They were the ones that initially started Sarasota Slickers. And then my mom and her twin sister was huge part of it as well, because they were the ones that made the uniforms.
Oh,
so this is how they came into play. So, we all just collaborated together, and we just, brought the community in just to keep the children out of trouble. Yeah, and so that's what Mama did.
I love it. I love that. So your mom sewed. Your mom
they made all the uniforms.
That is amazing. Yeah. So dance group, mom and her twin sister making a uniform. Tell me, and this is going back to just your advocacy work, how you grew up. So, just knowing how to really take up for yourself, or stand up for yourself and stand up for Rodney. After June 11th of 2012. Can you tell us about, I guess, what was a moment you said to yourself, like, I've got to get out in the community and I cannot allow my son's memory to go away?
Well, I'll take you back a little bit. When I was a kid, the police officers that we had in our communities, they were family. Right. So, I mean, we were all family. It wasn't like we had any, concerns of being afraid. Right. So they knew us by first name. I mean, it was just like June 11th, 2012 happened. Right. I had to relearn life. Yeah. Because I was like, wait a minute. Right. The same people that's supposed to serve and protect, or protect and serve, these are the ones that murdered my son. Yeah, execution style at that. Yeah. Didn't call for any help or anything. No ambulance, no nothing. Nothing but guns. That's when I knew there has to be a change.
Now, prior to that, though, Rodney had just gotten back home from college, right?
Yeah, just gotten home from college. Had only been home a couple months. So that he can come back in the real world, get him a job. He had went on different job interviews, and had things in place. And he decided that he asked me. He says, "Can I go down to Sarasota?" And I said, "Just just be careful." He went to Sarasota and never returned. Never returned.
Yeah, that still hits me, because we've been doing this a long time. I do want to talk about, because I feel like if anybody Googles Rodney Mitchell, if anybody Googles Natasha Clemens, everything, all of the work you've done, it will come up. People know you loud. People know you proud. People know you loving. People know you authentic. People know you. What is a misconception that people have gotten wrong as it relates to grief, or approaching someone who is in their grieving stage after loss?
Well, that's huge, because grief does not fade. Grief is not rushed. There's no time frame. Today you can be happy, and then the next 5 minutes you can be sad. Grief is like being on a roller coaster with no on or off switch. You don't know when it'll hit you. It just does. I've learned to deal with grief every second 1 second at a time. Let me put it that way. 1 second at a time, because if not, you will lose it. Yeah. But at the same time, when grief does try to, make me feel sad, I always think about the goodness of God.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Yeah. I always think about the goodness of God. He allowed me to have him for 23 years. Yeah. And then I think about, his only begotten son was taken from him as well. He gave his only begotten son up. Right. He had to utilize my son for the evil in this world. It's evil.
Absolutely.
It's truly
absolutely evil. And the thing is that, I think prior to Rodney's story, you heard so many stories of law enforcement or police agencies making excuses. Oh, this person was a criminal. This person had a gun. Rodney had none of it.
No. Well, the thing about it is that initially, from what I understand, and from where it takes me It initially started with Rodney King, then it went to Trayvon Martin,
Yep.
and then it went to Rodney Mitchell. So,
Yep.
my thing is that this is
Yep.
what I will be doing. And
Absolutely.
we will know none of that marching and,
Yeah.
and screaming and chatting. We need to put the ink on the paper.
Absolutely.
That's to happen.
Policy needs to change.
This police immunity, that needs to stop. But the thing about it is that nobody understands it until it happens to them. So my thing is that no need to turn the other cheek. Everybody that I know of that has children should have been fighting with me.
Exactly, and the real change needs to happen, and it still needs to happen.
Yes.
Change is still being demanded.
Oh, yes.
Change is still
and I
being
demand
demanded.
it. I demand it. Yes.
Absolutely. So I know you have your book here, The Do's and the Don'ts of a grieving mother. The do's and the don'ts of a grieving mother. And it is a guide, it is a book to help people know how to show up.
Right.
What's appropriate and what's inappropriate. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. I was actually at somebody's party, just, decided that I would, finally get out of the house and try to interact with, family and friends. And, I'm having a nice time, laughing, joking. And all of a sudden someone walks up to me and says, "I'm so sorry." You're sorry about what? Because my mind isn't, on Rodney at this time. My mind is, having fun. And so I said to her, I said, "Listen," I said, "I appreciate, that you're coming to me and that you're sorry, but please, I'm having a nice time right now." So I don't think that it's right that you walk up to someone that's having a nice time who's been really suffering. That's what I call it. And now that I'm having a nice time, now you want to come yourself.
Because it can completely shift
things. It shifts the entire atmosphere. So now I just go home, and so now I have to try to get myself back on task. And a lot of people just don't know. I give them grace. So I decided that I would talk about and write a book about the do's and don'ts of a grieving mother.
I think it's extremely important because while this has been a tragedy, while this has happened, you are also Natasha Clemens, who was the mascot of Sarasota Slickers, who is a devoted nurse, who has saved countless lives, who has traveled all over to provide care from the bottom to the top of nursing.
I have.
You have done so much. You have cared for so many people. I think at times when something like this happens, it becomes your identity.
Yes, it
or
changes.
Your identity gets lost in it. Yeah.
And the thing about it is that now my face and my identity becomes Rodney's identity. Because not only that I fight for what's right with Rodney's situation, but my identity, the same identity follows me wherever I go.
Right.
So now, of course, they in a sense kind of frown upon me, because then they're like, "Oh, you have to watch her because she's outspoken," which I am. Absolutely. Because if you shouldn't have to watch me, but you shouldn't have to watch me if you're doing what's right.
Right.
So
exactly.
It's about what's right, and that's just how it goes. So there's a sense of feeling different and being different, depending on in the work environment, or depending on where I go.
Yeah.
I read the room well.
And I think with just experiencing life the way that you've experienced it, you're just very much so aware.
Very, yeah.
And you can really read through the bullshit.
The bullshit. And the thing about it is that I call them out on it. I don't play patty cake.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, this is what came to my mind earlier. I love your hair, but there's a story behind this is your natural hair color. And it was a story behind your natural hair color.
Yes.
For many years, I've known you, and you've always had your hair done up in braids or in nice styles. And now I love this. So it's really embracing.
I decided that no more covering up. it's a blessing because I know that there's a lot of people or young ladies that's dyeing their hair this color. And my grandbaby, he was like 2 years old at the time, and I had my natural hair out, and he was adoring me. He says, "Oh my gosh, Mama, you look so pretty." And he was just, stroking my face and just rubbing me. He says, "You look so pretty." Now, one thing I do know is that the elderly and children will tell you the truth. And that's exactly why I started wearing my natural hair.
Yeah, I love it. So I want to take us back. What can you say to mothers? Because I feel like there's a lot of amazing mothers who work hard. They work 2 and 3 jobs sometimes, in most cases. They keep a structured household. They send them to school. They're in sports. They're in extracurricular activities. All of that. What can you say to those mothers as it relates to just being aware, educating themselves, educating their children in a way that school isn't going to always educate them?
So what needs to be done? No kid is too young to start educating the children. Police and nobody can tell me anything different. Just like there's good and bad nurses, there's good and bad police officers. However, if you know that somebody is doing something wrong, regarding whether it's a nurse or whether it's an officer, you see something, say something. So I prefer to, educate your children, and you tell them and teach them not to be afraid to speak and tell you what's going on.
Correct.
Make sure you know your children's whereabouts. Make sure you know what your children are doing. No, the police, they're not your friend. Stay as far away from them as possible. The police officers, unlike when I grew up, the police officers, they were family. They were family, and I am telling you, they were able to chastise us. They were able to, bring us home safe. And make sure everything is, they were actually helping my mother, keep us, in place. So, it's like nowadays it's the opposite. Yes, they wanna have a reason to have a black kid's body or their blood on their hand, and that's exactly what they did. They had no regards to that. If that Rodney has a son, that he's somebody's grandson, that he's somebody's child, cousin, uncle, brother. They had no regards.
What?
Yes, they received a promotion. They received a promotion, basically saying "good job." Out of all of the evidence that was presented, they were wrong. It was blatantly clear that they were wrong, and they were, they received the promotion. They, were married. As a matter of fact, the officer was the same age as Rodney.
Wow.
23. They played football together. I have the football plaque where they're on the same football team. So it's not like he didn't know who Rodney was, because he had to have somebody witness, but he has so many complaints filed against him. For, pulling black people over, or even Hispanics, minorities.
So before June 11, 2012, you talk about how you had your whole life planned. Like you had everything planned. You raise your children. They become just, decent people in society, give back to their community, give back to their families, create a life for themselves.
I'm talking about a master plan. Plan on buying a home, just, living my best life, continuing my education as a nurse practitioner, psych nurse practitioner, and, just living life and giving back to the community, making sure that, watching over our black and brown children to make sure that, they become successful, and to teach them that you don't have to go to college to be successful. And you don't have to, and even if you choose to go to college, you don't have to go out of the states. So that's what I plan on doing. Not just the agency, but a vocational school for black and brown people, because they made it so hard for us black people to get in school to become a nurse. So those were my goals.
It's so needed. It really is. What is something that you feel that you've had to unlearn since this whole situation, or just in life experiences, or relearn?
I had to relearn that the government is not for us. The laws were designed against us. They're not for us because no matter what evidence that is presented, they still try to find a way for us, to direct it back on us. I've learned that we need to stand together and stop fighting against one another. If my sister is doing well and if she's trying to, focusing on trying to become a nurse, I need to go and help her. I just think that, when it comes to financial literacy, we need to teach one another about it, because the thing about it is that those conversations was not had at our dinner tables. What I know is what I know.
I love that.
As a matter of fact, a lot of us didn't have tables. So those conversations were not had. I don't gatekeep. I'm open to help anybody that I can. As for relearning how to trust people, because I don't trust people.
Which is understandable.
Well, because it could be your own kind. And they don't realize that they're not for them. So you have to be mindful and be really, really careful. You got to be careful, really, really careful. And so there's a lot of things that I've had to learn, relearn. And I'm grateful that I understand it now. Because and I said to I'm saying, this is wrong. So it just takes me back each time something happens. It takes me back to what has happened to Rodney.
So we're here. It happened in 2012. So it's been about 12 years. We are like seeing, and I've been on this journey, seeing the evolution of Natasha. So can you, I guess maybe who you were then and now who you are now? Like, what is different now in a good way?
Well, in a good way, I can stand. I have the power, because at one point I didn't know who I was or where I was. You couldn't tell because I looked normal, but now I know whose I am. I know now. And I've decided that I would not allow my tragedy to turn me into someone that's bitter, angry, ugly. That's not who I am. I love to love, but at the same time, I'm firm, fair, and consistent. I'm very firm when it comes to what's right. Even if I've done something wrong, I'll be the first to say, listen, it's on me. So I'm just excited as for what's to come.
I can see the evolution of Natasha.
Oh, yes, it's coming.
I can.
And justice is too.
Talk about it. That too.
They're going down.
It has to.
It's going down.
I've shared this with you before, but there was a time, and I said, Natasha, and I was kind of like going through just a space of just maybe feeling down, and I said, Natasha, like how do you do it? Like, and I remember you said, every moment, happiness is a choice.
It is.
Happiness is a choice. You have to choose happiness. It's not something that just comes. It's something you choose. You have to choose to be happy. When we had that conversation, it was like years ago, but it still sticks with me. And I don't know if you know how much that has impacted my life on when I get down or I'm feeling like I can't, like I'm not doing the right thing. It's like, okay, I have an option to choose happiness. It's a choice. I can choose happiness. I don't have to allow what they have tried to do to me or the enemy to determine who I am or who I will show up as in any space that I'm in. That still applies. Good. Like, that's such a life lesson that still applies to my life right now, today. Even with just like starting this podcast scared, just like getting back to who I am, or just, evolving and choosing happiness in spite of what life may look like. And I can tell you, life has been life in this year. In 2025, it just life was life, and so that really just impacted my life. What I want to kind of like, one of the last, and I guess like ending questions of this interview and this evening is, I have two. What is something that you like? What is now that you're in this space, the evolution of who Natasha is? You no more covering.
No,
the hair is out, and
it's out.
What is something that you currently value that you feel that you can share with the world?
My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I value him with I'm talking about there's no limit. There's nothing that I wouldn't trust him with. Whatever it is what it is. I decided to just trust him wholeheartedly.
That's it.
It had gotten too heavy. So once I've decided to just give it all to him.
Yeah.
And the pastor that I have, my pastor is Dion, Pastor D. I'm telling you, he brings the word. And, and you're one of them in my family. Surrounding myself around, certain people because you find out who's there for you when you're going through. And
your
I'm
tribe
grateful.
is your vibe.
It is. It really is. And I take my tribe serious. I show up.
Yes, you do.
Show up.
I will say you definitely show up because you are my very, very first guest. Like, this was ordained. I really feel like people need that,
My thing is that I want you to accomplish your goal just as much as you want to accomplish your goal. Whatever I need to do to stand up in the paint, whatever I need to do to get you where you need to be, that's how it's going down.
So how can people show up for you? You have the Rodney Mitchell Foundation.
So we can prevent this from happening to other children because I know where Rodney is. My thing is that we need to stop it from happening to other people's children because there is no way that I would ever want this to happen to any other mother. So when there's something that's happening, when like any petitions or when I need people to show up, I need for you to show up. Even if your children are adults because they're not safe either. Rodney was an adult. So I just think that, showing up for what's right. And, we need to put the ink to the paper.
Are you on socials? Support you, get connected to you.
I am on Facebook.
So Natasha Clemens, support the movement, support you, support what you have coming up.
Yes, we're making plans. Rodney's birthday is in March.
Yes. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for what's going on with Rodney's birthday's event happening in March.
Oh, yes.
Also, Natasha Clemens on all three. TikTok, Facebook, and also Instagram.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for coming on Breaking Bread with Deedra Zee.
My pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Thank you all for tuning in to the second episode of Breaking Bread with Deedra Zee. This podcast is rooted in honesty. We commit to showing up real, evolving out loud, and sharing both the blessings and the lessons. Growth is not about having all of the answers. Breaking Bread with Deedra Zee is a space where truth is welcomed, growth is encouraged, and transformation or evolution is respected. If this episode resonated with you, I want you to know you belong in this space. Share this episode with someone who needs it. And join me next episode as we continue breaking bread. And we're